there are many uses of fermentation of food by microorganisms. One is the fermentation is going to improve the nature and quality of the food. It will give a good flavor and taste to the food. And second one is it is going to convert the proteins and other fiber material that are present in the food material to such a kind that it can be easily digested by the human beings. And third one is, so the fermentation of food is going to help in prevention of loss of the produce. For example, if tomato is produced in large scale, it cannot be consumed so as a vegetable. So then it can be fermented. It can be produced into sauce. It can be produced into sauce. So and it can be stored for a longer period of time. Similarly, grapes or any other fruits. So if they are produced in large scale and if they cannot be consumed as a salad or as a fruits, so it can be converted into wine or any other alcoholic beverages, and it can be stored for a longer period of time. So this way fermentation, apart from increasing the value, apart from increasing the nutrition and flavor of the food, apart from giving a differentiated food with a different taste, aroma and characteristics, so it will also help in reducing the wastage of the food. This is the one of the methods of reducing the wastage of the food or storing the food for a longer period of time. Okay. So what is fermentation? This you need to remember. There are many other definitions, but I will try to give one definition of fermentation. And in fermentation, fermentation is whenever you refer a fermentation, there will be both aerobic and anaerobic fermentation. But when we refer just fermentation, it is an anaerobic process. It's a process which is carried out under the absence of oxygen, and there will be a production of alcohol. There will be a production of alcohol and acids. So whenever you mention a fermentation, it is carried out in the absence of oxygen, and the products will be organic acids and alcohol. So now you can define fermentation as the metabolic process by which organic molecules or sugars or glucose, metabolic process by which organic molecules or sugars are converted into acids, gases or alcohol in the absence of oxygen. Okay. Kiran? One second. Hello. Okay, let us continue. And the science of fermentation is known as zymology. The science which studies about different techniques of fermentation is known as zymology. Okay. So please observe here. So this I will already explain. So the fermentation of foods serves five main purposes. Five main purposes. Three purposes I have already told you, that it enriches the diet through development of diversity of flavors, aroma, and texture to the food. It helps to preserve substantial amount of food through fermentation. So the food that is going to be wasted will be preserved. It enriches the food substances with proteins. So after fermentation, the fruit will become enriched in essential amino acids, vitamins, and easily digestible proteins. It eliminates anti-nutrients, the nutrients which are not required by our body. So in majority of cases, will be eliminated through the process of fermentation of food. And it reduces the cooking time and associated fear. So since fermentation softens the food materials, convert into easily digestible materials. So this also reduces the time of cooking and saves the gas or the fuel which is used for cooking. And this is the practical aspect. So in your practical, you need to study about one of the preparation of one of the fermented product, that is sauerkraut. Sauerkraut, although in India, it is not used much. In India, it is not used much, but in Western countries, so they use it in a large scale, especially in Finland, other things. So, and it is not, and this sauerkraut will contain a very less amount of calories. That means when you eat that one, you will not become fat, or it will not add on to your weight because it contains. So that means 100 grams of sauerkraut contains only 26 calories, and even fat is very less. There is only 0.3 grams. And they know that the use of this sauerkraut will increase or will enhance the digestion. And they also know that it contains one product called choline, which will reduces the cancer. It contains fermentation of cabbage into sauerkraut will produces one compound called choline, which is known to reduce the cancers. Okay. And production. Sauerkraut is mainly prepared from cabbage by microbial fermentation of sugars that are present in the cabbage. And if you can remember, please, it is good. There are three types of microorganisms are involved in the fermentation of sauerkraut. So these three types are grouped mainly based on the product they produce. Leuconostoc mesenteroides. So this is one of the Leuconostoc mesenteroides is one of the microorganisms involved. This produces acid and gas. Lactobacillus plantarum. So this is a bacilli that produces acid and a small amount of gas. Lactobacillus cucumeris and Lactobacillus pentoacidicus. These are acid and gas producing. I don't know why they are grouped into three, but you can remember at least one or two organisms which used in the production of sauerkraut. So this is the sauerkraut which is prepared from cabbage. Okay. And what will happen in sauerkraut preparation? What will happen? What is the mechanism of sauerkraut fermentation? Here, what will happen? Cabbage will be cut into small pieces and it will be mixed with the salt. It will mix with approximately around 2.5% of salt by weight. For every 100 grams of shredded cabbage, we will be mixing with the 2.5 gram of salt. So because we mix with the high salt concentration, outside environment, the solute concentration is more. There will be a plasmolysis. Whatever the cell contents are there in the shredded cabbage will be released into the outside environment. So here we are, the released juices from the cabbage cells contains many sugars like fructose, glucose, sucrose, and other nutrients, which will support the growth of microorganisms. And here we will be covered that so that there will be a creation of anaerobic condition. So on this fermentation, after the fermentation, it's going to yield. The sauerkraut will contain lactic acid, propionic acid, acetic acid, ethanol, mannitol, and dextrin, and carbon dioxide. And later on, acid and ethanol will combine to produce esters. The esters are the ones which will give a flavor, which will give a characteristic flavor to the products. Okay. So in the next, when you rejoin, please immediately after this, you please rejoin. I will tell you the procedure how to prepare a sauerkraut. So the materials required are very simple. We require cabbage, we require salt, that is NaCl, we require polythene cover, water, and beakers. Beakers, polythene covers, salt, and cabbage. This much is enough. So next we will study how to prepare a sauerkraut. So I'm ending this meeting. Please rejoin after 5 minutes. You give me 5 minutes time. I have some work. So after